Hello and welcome to Royal Reviewer Live Chat. As always, the format is exactly the same with all of these live question and answer chat sessions. Just find the comment section, say hello, and ask me any question, whatever you like, about the British royal family. Now, as always, going to find the chat box so that I can actually see what anyone's actually saying. So I'm just going to do that now. And I've figured out what I do every time now. I go to the live events section on my YouTube screen that I can see. So you guys can't actually see this, but I can. And I can open up a chat window. So I just need to do that now. So I hope you've all had a really fantastic week. Okay, so I found the chat window and I can see Chelsea Thomas. So hello, Chelsea. Chelsea is a regular. She comments quite a lot on the videos, and she's been here almost every single week for all of the live chats. So hello to you. Chelsea, just checking in with you. Can you see me properly? Can you hear me properly? Just want to make sure that everything's as it should be. So let's start with Prince Harry. Now, it's been an incredibly busy week for Prince Harry. He's on his tour, and we're actually on day 7 now. And I've pretty much got a video ready to go for day 7. We are in the UK, roughly about 4 hours in front of where Prince Harry is currently in St Vincent. So I'm now waiting for Prince Harry to finish up his day's worth of public engagements before I publish the day 7 video. So I've pretty much written up to date where he's at on day 7. So I'm just waiting for him to finish, and then I'll be able to upload day 7, which I'll do after I've finished the live chat. So hopefully he'll have finished. I'm waiting on him having an evening reception at St Vincent. So that's what I'm waiting for day 7. So I'm just really looking forward to releasing that video onto my YouTube. We have a new visitor called Van HRH, and she says, well, first of all, are you a he or a she? Van, it could be a male, could be female. Is Van short for Vanessa? I'm just wondering. Anyway, you say, first time here. Hi, Elliot, I can see you. Well, hello to you, and welcome to the question and answer live chat. If you do have any questions for me, please just type away, and I'll try and answer as best I can. As always, I never know what questions are coming up. It's always a surprise, and more often than not a pleasure to hear such fantastic questions from the viewers. So I'm really looking forward to some more fantastic questions. Vanessa says, yes, it's short for Vanessa. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for coming. Do you normally watch my YouTube videos? So as I said last week on the live chats, most of this week was going to be dominated by Prince Harry, which it has been. And I've added to my list even more videos which I need to catch up on. So there's lots and lots and lots to do. And I'm hoping I get a chance tomorrow to make some extra videos. Hello to Loretta Hurd, who says, hi Elliot, I made it. Hello, and I'm glad that you're all making it. As always, I always do my live chats at 10 o'clock my time, which is Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. So if you're watching this on catch up and you want to know when that time is where you are, the easiest way is to do a Google search and type in UK time, and you'll be able to find out how many hours behind or in front you are, depending on where you are in the world. So that's a good way of finding out when 10 PM GMT is, and it's always on a Saturday. And if for any reason I can't make it, I will always try and tell you. Loretta says, you look lovely tonight. Thank you very much. I just try different outfits every week. Actually, I'm working on something good for the upcoming Christmas weeks. So it's not particularly fashionable by any stretch of the imagination, but I am working on something ready for Christmas. Okay, Chelsea says, Elliot just asked the same question Oak asked in Pokemon. What's that question? I don't know. I don't really follow the Pokemon. Please tell me. I know Pokemon is very, very popular these days, especially with the Pokemon Go, but I've never played it myself. Sally says, hi Elliot. Hi Sally. Vanessa says, I watch all your videos. I live in Florida, so I tend to miss the live chat, but I figured out the time today, finally. Well done, Vanessa, and I'm really glad that you made it. Actually, 2 of my favorite YouTubers live in Florida. So 2 people that I really watch on YouTube are from there. Nancy says, poor Harry was really put on the spot by the president of Antigua. I agree, he was. I wonder if the president's reference to a new princess was a reference to marriage rather than pregnancy. We really don't know, but it was really terribly exciting and intriguing. Basically, if you don't know already, the president of Antigua, during a speech, really embarrassed Prince Harry. The entire crowd were told in advance not to mention Meghan Markle, but the president, well, the president of Antigua. I get confused because sometimes they're called prime ministers, sometimes they're governor generals, and sometimes they're president. I think it was the president of Antigua, though. Anyway, he said in a speech live in front of about 300 people, he said that he would welcome that Antigua would be a perfect place for Harry's honeymoon, which obviously hints at a marriage. So maybe he knows something we don't. And he also said that something about a new princess. So everyone suddenly began thinking, is Meghan pregnant? Do they know that it's a girl, that it's going to be a princess? Are they going to get married? So it just released a whole load of new speculation, which of course is just that, it's speculation. We don't know. He could have just been saying it as a throwaway comment, or he may have some real insider knowledge. We don't know. So we really do have to just watch this space. But whatever happens, it was terribly embarrassing for Prince Harry. And you could just tell from his face how embarrassed he was. So I think my heart and everyone else's went out to him on that occasion. What do you all think about it? And do you think that the speculation has basis in truth? Or do you think it's just a happy-go-lucky Antiguan just having a bit of fun? Okay, Chelsea says, are you a boy or a girl? Is that something that they say on Pokemon? Well, yeah, sometimes by people's usernames, you don't always know, and I can't always see the little profile picture. So because I'm sitting a little bit far back from the screen, the profile pictures are really, really small, so I can't tell sometimes if boy or girl. And Van could have been a boy or girl name. So do I have any royal related questions? I have brought some things to show you this week. I've brought some of my, or part of my leather bookmark collection, which have links to either the royal family or the aristocracy or historical British buildings. So I'm looking forward to showing you those. And I also have a few other books from my personal book collection. So looking forward to showing you those. Okay, Terry says he has a beard. Do you mean me with my beard, or do you mean Prince Harry with his beard? Okay. Bansley Girl says, hi Elliot, do you have any idea why the Duchess of Cambridge hasn't been given the Queen's order yet? Thank you. Well, I think on this particular occasion, the Queen normally waits a certain period of time. Camilla, I don't think, didn't get one straight away, and I can't remember the exact amount of years that she had to wait. If someone's out there who can Google it really quickly for me, that would be great. But I think they wait a little bit, and I think they've been married, what is it, about 6 years now? I think she'll probably get one on the 10-year anniversary of their wedding. That's just my own personal opinion. I do think it will come, but I think it will be probably on the 10-year anniversary of their marriage. So it could be a birthday present for her, or it could just be on the anniversary. But I do think it will be on some kind of anniversary. But I do think around about the 10-year mark. Terry Turner says, Chelsea asked if you were a boy. No, Terry, Chelsea was talking about when I made a comment about Van HRH, who posted a comment, and I couldn't tell if Van was short for a boy's name or a girl's name. So I asked the question, and Van was a girl's name, as I thought, short for Vanessa. Okay, Chelsea said, I saw one of Diana dolls for £85 in my town. Oh, I didn't know there was a Diana doll. I know of some Diana China dolls, which I actually would really like to have one for myself. But I haven't seen a proper doll. So if you could find the link to that, that would be great. I think the viewers would love to see. Finn says, I feel dumb, but what is the Queen's Order? The Queen's Order is a little, I suppose it can be described as like a brooch. It's more of an ornament and an honour that the Queen can give to, usually to members of her own family, who she feels have served her well. And it's one of the highest orders that she can be given. So we think, well, I think that she'll be given that in time, probably around about the 10-year mark. It usually has a little coloured ribbon, and it's a little picture of the Queen. Loretta says, I read Sarah, the Duchess of York, is suing the publishers behind the video released some years ago. Yes, she is. I think she wants something ridiculous like 10 or 20 million, which she thinks she lost in earnings for selling access to Prince Andrew. Can you explain why she's suing? I thought she took personal responsibility. I think what it was is a famous pop star called Tulisa, who was also taken in by the fake sheikh, successfully sued for all kinds of things, loss of earnings and whatever. So now I think she's spotted an opportunity and she's going for it. And Sarah claims that for a certain number of years she didn't earn any money whatsoever from the media, and she puts that down to that scandal that took place. So she's suing for loss of earnings and personal damages. I mean, I suppose she kind of has a point, but let's just see where that takes her. I mean, it's certainly a lot of money, and whether she'll get anywhere near the amount, who knows? Nicole says, hi, are there stories about Prince William disapproving of the Kensington Palace statement on Meghan true? I have heard those, and I'll just get to that in a moment. I hope that Meghan and Harry can survive the harsh criticism that they have received. You are great. Well, thank you very much for the personal comments about me. Thank you. I appreciate all my viewers, and I appreciate when you enjoy the videos. Getting back to your question about Prince William, again, in the papers that was reported, they said that an inside source told them the information. We don't know who. We don't know whether it was just another story concocted by the media to get some more column inches, to sell some papers. So we really just don't know. Basically, the story says that Prince William disapproved of Prince Harry being hot-headed and releasing that unprecedented statement, which was fairly unprecedented. Members of the royal family don't usually comment on boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. So Prince Harry did take an unusual step, but it's reported that Prince William thought that that was letting too much light in on personal matters that should be kept private. So Prince William thought that it would make more media attention and that he didn't have to. Whether this is true or not, again, we don't know, which is why I didn't do a video on that story, because it could be untrue. I never ever want to report something that could be untrue. If we get any more information on that, I may decide to do a video. At the moment, it looks like it could just be the newspapers trying to sell more papers. Okay, Jennifer says, I think he meant new princess, meaning Miss Markle as the new princess. I don't know. I thought he meant as in welcome a new princess. It could be either way. To be honest, they were kind of almost throwaway comments, and we don't know. Terry says by the 10-year mark it might be the King's Order. It may be, depending on obviously how long the Queen lives for. Hopefully she'll become as old as what her mother was, so she's got a good 10 years ahead of her, we hope. Okay, Nancy says, I agree with Jennifer, new princess equals Meghan Markle. It could be, but I took it to mean a new baby princess, because some people did mention pregnancy rumours too, but it could mean, obviously, combined with the honeymoon comment, it could mean her as a new princess, or rather a duchess as she would be. But again, we don't know. Prince Harry did look pretty unimpressed by the comments. Okay, Loretta says, did the series Finding Sarah appear in Britain? It did, yes. Many, I can't remember what year it was, but it was many years ago, and I do remember watching it. And she's also been on some other documentaries as well. If you do get a chance, I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but try and type in Ruby Wax meets Sarah. It might be just Sarah or the Duchess of York. Try any combination of those. If it's on there, it was really good. It was after her divorce, so it's sort of that particular period in time. If you do get a chance, Ruby Wax, Sarah, or the Duchess of York, just type those in and see if it's there. That is well worth a watch. Okay, Chelsea says, I can't put links in the chat, so I post after the question and answer. That would be great, Chelsea. Thank you very much. So if you find those links, just post them in the chat, and people can go back to the video once it's up on YouTube when the chat finishes, and they can scroll down and find your link. Okay, Terry says, Sarah should try to keep a low profile. Her daughter could be getting married soon, and it spoils her chances of getting back together with Prince Andrew. I'm not sure whether she wants to get back with him. I think she quite likes her life sort of half in, half out. But as with many royal things, it's a case of who knows, because it's their private life. However, a private life being played out fairly publicly. But most things are speculation, or must be considered speculation, until an actual confirmation. So unless anything is confirmed, it can only ever be classed as speculation. But I do agree to a certain extent. A lower profile would, well, Sarah out of any kind of trouble would be better for her daughters and furthering their chances of having a royal role and having a successful marriage. And of course, that marriage hasn't actually been officially announced yet. That was just speculation, although well-founded, well-placed speculation, but there's been no official engagement announcement, let that be said. So there still isn't actually any confirmation. The letter says, when you think about it, there hasn't been many boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, especially when you consider the Victorian years. That's true. A lot of the older royal relationships, that was a tongue twister, are just announced pretty much straight away. Actually, Charles and Diana did the same thing. They had a very short courtship before the actual announcement of the wedding. And that's been the case over many years, as you said, back to the Victorian period and beyond. So it wouldn't be completely out of royal precedent to have a very short courtship and then an announcement of an engagement. But I think it's not particularly the modern way. And Harry is a fairly modern man, although he has hinted that he wants to settle down and have children, and there's the chance that he may have bought the house, which I've done the video on. So when you put all these pieces together, it does start to make a fairly good picture of the puzzle. So I just think we need a few more pieces and a little bit of actual confirmation, and then we will have a much clearer picture. Terry says a baby princess. That would be another scandal. If it's out of wedlock, it probably would. Loretta says, hasn't Sarah said she was forced to divorce? I think it was that whole period when if you were a problem, you were kind of sidelined and pushed, and then there was all of her finances and the scandal. So I think she probably was forced in a way. Then obviously when she was free from the shackles of her royal confines, she was able to make money. And I think she developed a bit of a taste for that. Van says, Elliot, if in the long shot Meghan joins the British royal family, what would happen to her social media accounts? I've seen people commenting that she shouldn't be using Instagram and Twitter as a royal girlfriend. As a girlfriend, she is still a person, a private person, and she can choose to do with her social media as she wishes. She doesn't have to conform to anything. She is her own person. I think she's been very careful, however, with what she puts on there. She's put lots of cryptic pictures and messages, and if you go onto those social media accounts and follow her, you'll see what I mean. Like, for example, she posted a picture of two bananas cuddling, which sort of hinted at her sort of mocking the media slightly and mocking the attention. But I think she's fairly constrained with what she puts out there, so it doesn't seem to be a particular problem. But I'd imagine if she married into, should I say, the British royal family, they would be made encrypted and private straight away, and she would probably also give up her sort of TV media career and focus on charity work, which she has said that's what she's interested in going forward long term. And she has said in other interviews she's struggled to adjust doing the charity work where she sees lots of harrowing things, like for example when she visits Africa and she helps out over there, to go back to the glitz and glam of the media and celebrity world. So I think she'd be quite happy to just drop all that and concentrate on the charity and good work. So in a way she may be quite perfect for that. Interestingly enough, I do think that I have actually found Prince Harry's social media account, and some other people have as well, but I definitely think I found who, or what name should I say, he's using on social media. So I have been sort of following that. However, most of it is all private, so you can't really see too much, but I do have a slight insight into who he is on social media, and I have reason to believe that it is actually the real him. I wouldn't ever think that if it wasn't, but things add up. Let's just put it that way. Things add up. Okay. Vansley Girl says, I can imagine Her Majesty not being too happy if a Hollywood celebrity became part of the royal family. Prince Harry would have to ask for his grandmother's permission to marry anyone. I don't think she would refuse. I think paramount is a happy grandson, and I think any grandmother would want their grandson to be happy. I think the fact she's had a Hollywood celebrity past may not go that far against her, because it was so public. Everything is out there and open, so there aren't really, that we know of, that many skeletons in the closet. It's fairly unconventional, but everything's out there, so you can't really say that it can be a negative. Well, you could argue it could be a negative, but I don't think in this case it would be. Okay, Nicole says, I love your Instagram posts. Are you going to post any photos of Prince Harry's tour? I have done on Facebook. Just today I did some compilation photos, and I posted them on Facebook. I will also upload some onto Instagram too. I usually save the Instagram account for more sort of quirky stuff, and the Facebook is obviously promoting the videos and certain pictures. So as I said, all these different social media accounts are kind of have different purposes, and I go at them from a different angle. If you follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to follow me on Twitter. It's royal_reviewer. So you can find me on there really easy. I tweet lots of media people involved with the media, and some of them follow me. And I haven't got too many followers on Twitter, so if you'd like to join me, then find me on there and follow me. I'd love to see you there, and then you can join in on Twitter discussions and whatever's happening on there at the time. And it's also a great place to pick up some news instantly. Okay, Chelsea says, if I was a princess, I would use social media like a particular celebrity uses a social media. You actually said a name and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. It sounds like yeah, I'm not even going to go there. So who is this person, and how does she or he use their social media account? Vivian says, hello from rainy Southern California. Is it raining? Wow. What is the relationship between Prince Charles and his sons and Prince Andrew? According to the media, it seems frosty. I think they have a difference of opinion at the moment. I don't think it's enough to cause shockwaves, but certainly Prince Andrew is well documented as wanting a higher, more important full-time working role for his daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. I think they want it too. He passed that wish on to the Queen, who passed it on to Charles. And Charles thinks it's not the right time to do so. And I think the time will come. I think they just need to hold out and do their own thing with their own charity work, and really build a strong case that they can fulfill that role should the opportunity arise. And I think once William and Catherine and Harry are at full capacity, that might happen. But that certainly isn't played out for the media. So whenever you see them together, you will always see them as not as a normal, happy, smiley family. Valerie says, can you clear something up for me? What is the royal protocol for marriage? In the Crown, it makes it seem as though Princess Margaret didn't have to have the Queen's permission to marry after 25 years. I haven't seen the Crown yet. I'm still waiting. So I don't know quite what they showed. However, I think it's something like if you are six places sit in line to the throne, you have to ask for permission, and I think it's 7 onwards you don't have to ask permission. So Princess Margaret would have had to. Prince Harry is over 25, so would he have to have the Queen's permission? I do believe so, yes. I definitely think so. I haven't ever heard of an age restriction on it, to be fair. Loretta says, I'm in Northern California and it's raining here too. Well, for once, it hasn't been raining in Britain, so you can keep the rain for a few days. Thank you. Valerie says, in my opinion, the York Girls should work as royals and have all the benefits. I agree. I think they're high-profile people. I think to take away the royal protection was a bit harsh. I know it costs money. Everything costs money. But they are high-profile, high-risk people who, you know, didn't ask to be born into the royal family. They have lots of privileges and perks, obviously. But I think protection and personal protection and safety is very important. So I don't think that should have been taken away. And I do believe that they would be an asset to the Crown. I just think it would be more palatable to everyone in Britain if there was a need for it. And I think that need hasn't arrived yet. But when it does, I hope that they will be able to step up to the mark and fulfill that role. Okay, Chelsea is explaining to me how you say that celebrity's name, and I'm going to have another go as Chelsea has broken it down for me. So it's show her Agdash, Showa Agdash, Showa Agdash Lu, Showa Agdash Lu. She posts things, but she's working in. I still don't know who I'm going to have to Google her because I have no idea who she is. Bansley Girl says it's raining here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada too. It seems to be raining everywhere apart from the UK, and I hope it stays that way. Vivian says, yes, it's pouring down here in Southern California. Finally, we're in a drought. Well, that's really good for you guys then to actually get some rain. Although, if you have you've had a period of drought and you suddenly have rain, it could cause flash floods. So let's hope it's rain, but not too much rain, or really fine rain, so it has a chance to soak in and not cause any problems. Terry says it has been raining here in southern Spain for a few days, but it's dry now. That's one of the best things about having such a diverse weather system, is that it can support so many different ways of life. It's been cold in the UK, but not raining, and I'm fingers crossed that it will stay not raining. Okay, so do I have any other new questions? If you've just joined the chat and you're wondering what this is all about, this is my Royal Reviewer live weekly chat every Saturday at 10 PM GMT, and you can ask me any questions you like. It can be about the videos that have happened, any future videos you'd like to see, about anything royal that's been in the news. Just say whatever you want, or even just say hello. Okay, Terry says, but the temperature is 10 degrees or less at night. Yes, I remember from when I used to go to Spain that at night time it does drop, rather chilling. Chelsea says, I will love that celebrity. Is she a YouTuber? Does she just make YouTube videos? Okay, Vivian says, when do you folks in the UK get snow? Well, it's probably a misconception around the world that we always have snow every winter. We don't. For the past 3 or 4 years, we haven't had really any discernible amount of snow. We may have the odd sort of wet flurry of snow, but that doesn't really stick. So, I mean, we can get snow anywhere from now up till March. I think we had some in April months a good few years back, but we've had nothing heavy for 4 years now. In fact, I think you've had more in the USA. So I really love the snow, and I really hope that we get some soon. We are a little bit overdue, and I really like cold winters too, so I'm really hoping for a very cold winter, or at least a cold frosty Christmas day. Okay, Valerie says, do we know where and when the next tour for Will and Kate is? I can't remember, or if one has indeed been announced. I think William's got a solo tour, but I'm not sure about the joint tour, and I certainly don't think on the next joint tour they will take George and Charlotte. I think the Canada was the last family tour we'll see for a good few years. Ned says hi. Hi, Ned. Jennifer says, was Chelsea Davy the Prince's last girlfriend? I've been following the royals for a long time. I think it was Cressida Bonus. I think you say her name, Cressida Bonus. I think she was the last royal girlfriend. Well, the last one that we know of anyway. There may have been ones that haven't got out to the media. There may have been one-night stands. But the last proper girlfriend was Cressida Bonus, who is daughter of a wealthy family and a bit of a London socialite. Loretta says, it's been some weeks now. Do the British press believe there are problems in the Cambridge marriage? It's not been really reported in the UK. I don't think that's been that has any basis in truth whatsoever. I think it's a story that's probably around the world, but there's always some sort of story about Kate, or Catherine, as I prefer to call her, being pregnant, or the marriage being on the rocks, and I just don't think there's any basis in truth for that. There's not really been any signs. I think someone used a picture where she was reading something, and they said that she looked unhappy. She was just reading something. I mean, if you take a picture of someone yawning, it can look like it's something different to just a yawn. So I don't think there's any basis in truth for that. And certainly when you see them out together, they do look really happy together, not like Princess Diana and Prince Charles when they were going through their marriage troubles. Chelsea says the person that she spoke of is an actress, an activist and an author with a distinctive voice and a generous, loving heart. I will look forward to finding out who she is and watching whatever she's done. Okay. We have another comment. Will the Duchess of Cambridge wear a tiara? She has already worn them, although not particularly publicly. She's worn them to some state occasions, namely state banquets. And if you look, you can find some photos of them. I have also done some videos of it. If you scroll back a few pages of my videos, and I really hope that she'll wear them. I've said before that I think she's playing it rather low-key when it comes to jewels. I think as Duchess, she'll wear low-key jewels and try and keep it as low-key as possible and sort of modern and fresh. I think when she's Princess of Wales, she'll up it a step and wear the tiaras a bit more openly and wear some more pieces of jewellery, and maybe we'll see some more of Diana's collection coming out when she's Princess of Wales. And then as Queen, I think it will be a jewellery free-for-all, and she'll just be able to wear whatever she wants when she wants. So I'm really hoping that she wears more tiaras and more jewels, but I think at this stage she won't. I think we'll just have to put up with a more demure Duchess rather than a glitzy bejeweled one. Okay, Nicole says, how would Harry go about introducing Meghan to the public? The media's reporting of her has been damaging. Can she be rehabilitated? I hope so. I think you mean her public appearance. Could that be sort of rejuvenated to be more positive? The palace has been known to do some media spin to turn around someone's profile. Personally, I don't believe she has a particularly bad profile. I think there was, as said in Prince Harry's statement, there was some racist comments and some comments about her past work that she'd done. But as I said, that's all very open and it's in the past. I think going forwards, she could be quite an asset to the royal family. So there may not be a lot of work to do on sort of rehashing her public image. Terry says he hopes so too, that she can be well presented to the public. Van Ziegel says William and Catherine looked very happy while in Victoria. The whole family did. Yes, I agree. I don't think there's any marriage problems whatsoever. Valerie says, what do I think about Kate wearing and having two queen dresses? Yes, it was the red dress that she wore on tour, and then she wore a black dress. I just think she likes that style of dress, and she must have been presented with them with two different colours, and she had both of them. Often when you find something that fits well and looks good, you might just buy both and wear them for different occasions. But yes, the point of wearing them so closely together, I mean, they were for very different events, and I suppose if you wear something in a bright colour and then wear something in black, I think that's acceptable. What do you think? Vivian says, is the daughter of Prince Edward's last name Mountbatten instead of Windsor? Actually, it's a double-barreled name. So Princess Louise, well, she's not technically, she's entitled to be a princess. So she could be Princess Louise. However, Sophie and Edward turned that down. And so she's styled as the daughter of an earl, which is Lady. So she's the Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor is her official title. Mountbatten being Philip's family name, which is the English version of Battenberg. So he had a very sort of Germanic sounding name of Battenberg. So obviously the Mount is the berg, and the batten is the, yeah, I'm trying to work it out. Yeah, so Mountbatten and Battenberg are like the flip reverse of each other anyway. So he changed it to a more English one just before he married the Queen, and so I think about 20 years later after their marriage, it was decreed that their descendants should bear the name Mountbatten Windsor. So she's Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor as her full name. But she is technically, or could be, a princess. Maybe when she gets older, she may be offered the choice herself about whether she wants to be titled a princess or not. Who knows? Nicole says, thanks, Terry. Okay, Valerie says exactly what I believe about the jewels as well. Okay, Jennifer says, I agree with you. It's not her doing the bad image. Yes, she's just lived her life, a normal life, and is trying to now get on with the next phase of her life. And as I said, it's all, and everything she's done is all open and in the media. There's nothing that we know of that's been covered up. I'm sure if there had been, it would have come out by now, with people trying to sell stories and make money. So I think what we've seen is probably the extent of what there is. And when you look at it on the face of it, it's not that bad. It's just a girl trying to make a better life for herself, and she's done it the best way that she knows how. However, her charity work has always been shining through, and I think when she has the opportunity to just concentrate on that, I think she'll do a very good job. Okay, Loretta says, I think due to Princess Margaret and Charles and Diana show, the Queen wouldn't disapprove of a marriage. I think both the Queen and Prince Philip have learned. I think they just want their family to be happy. And they know that Camilla makes Charles happy, and they know that Catherine makes William happy. And if Meghan makes Harry happy, then I'm sure they'll be perfectly happy to go along with it and give their consent. Van says, I was watching a short documentary about the jewels and tiaras in the royal collection. So many beautiful pieces. Does the Queen make the final decision about the tiara a new bride wears? I don't think so. I think she may express an opinion, and obviously that opinion is usually not ignored. However, in Diana's case, she had her own family tiara, so she was more than entitled to wear that. In Catherine's case, it seems to me very much her choice anyway. I think she wanted something rather low-key, and as we know, the scroll tiara is pretty much considered kind of a starter tiara. It's not particularly grand. It's very beautiful, and it's very pretty, and it's very Catherine. So you can see that that was her choice, and I think the Queen obviously approved of that choice. If she hadn't, she'd have made her feelings known, and I'm sure we'd have seen something completely different. Personally, I like the more pointy tiaras. I particularly like the sort of fringe tiaras, and I think she'd look really good in one of those, but hopefully she might wear something like that when she's Queen. Okay, Vanessa says that she hopes I make another video about the jewels. I plan to, I really want to. Again, it all comes down to time and what's happening, and it will be another very busy week of Prince Harry videos because he's still on the tour for another week. It's a 2-week tour. So when I get the chance, I will be able to do a lot more videos, and I do have a particular interest in the royal jewels. So I'd love to make more videos. We have another comment. Yes, about contemporary jewellery tiara styles. I don't think there will be any new purchases of tiara styles. However, it is known in the royal family to dismantle pieces of jewellery and reconfigure them. So maybe we'll see some old pieces rejigged into more modern pieces. I personally think that that one of the diamond necklaces, of which there are many in the Queen's collection, could actually be turned into kind of like a diamond headband that could be worn sort of on the fringe or on the midline or on the crown. And I think that would work very, very well with a modern style. And also, one thing I have thought of is Queen Victoria's small diamond crown that she used to wear on here. The arches can be removed. So when the arches are removed, it's kind of like a little small circlet. And I always thought that would be really, it would look stunning with put onto a bun or some kind of up hairdo. So if Catherine was wearing an updo or she had like a bun, she could have the bun coming out of the circlet part of Queen Victoria's small diamond crown. And I think that would look absolutely stunning and would be a very modern way to work that that circlet or crown. What do you think? I think that's a really good idea, and I wish you would. Valerie says, could Zara now ask to be a princess? I think they were offered, not her personally, but her parents were offered. They turned it down. I think Zara is very comfortable with living how she is. She's grown up that way, and she probably sees no reason to change. And of course, she enjoys being a part of the royal family, but also being out of it. So she's free to make her own money and make her own decisions, but she's still there for all the family occasions, and of course, they're still her family. She could ask to be one, or she may have even been offered. We don't know. But certainly I can't see any change on the card for her. Van says that they discussed the Mountbatten Windsor surname on a couple of episodes of The Crown. Pretty interesting. Yes, basically Philip was really angry that he couldn't give his wife and children his surname. The Queen Mother was very adamant that she wanted the House of Windsor to still rule and still be used. So obviously there was a compromise made about 20-25 years later where Mountbatten Windsor could be passed on. Okay, more princesses means more better gravy for the meatloaf that is life. Thank you for that really interesting comment. Yes, personally I agree. I think that there is a role for a more extended royal family, but when the time is right, once some of the elder Queen's cousins are no longer able to do their duties, I think that would be the correct time to bring in the blood princesses. And of course, Harry's future partner, whoever that might be. Letter says, if Camilla can fit in after all these years, other commoners shouldn't be a problem. I agree. I don't think it matters what status in life you're from. You have to be suited to that lifestyle, as well as obviously loving the person that you're marrying. And I think that Meghan is those things. I think she's used to the media, so she's not shy. She's used to doing charity work, so she's hardworking, and she seems rather an intelligent person. She has a degree. She's well educated. They share lots of interests with Africa and conservation and humanitarian efforts. They seem a very good match, and she seems a very strong character, a very resilient character to be able to cope with the stresses and strains of future royal life. Vivian says, does Lord Snowdon still take royal photos of the Queen and of royals? Not that I've seen for a very long time. It could just be for his own personal collection. Yeah. Caroline says, hi Elliot, just got in and logged on my computer. Hi Caroline, and welcome to the live world chat. If any of you have missed any of it, you can always go back after the chat and watch the live chat on Catch Up on YouTube. Okay, Van says, Meghan's biggest problem at the moment seems to be her half-sister who keeps talking to the media about Meghan. Even when it's pretty obvious they aren't close and haven't spoken in a while. People are always going to try and make money or cause trouble. It's whether we listen to them, whether we believe them, or whether the media keep giving them, you know, legs to go on there and do it. Let's not give them the platform. Van Z says, I agree with you about the fringe tiaras. They are so lovely. They are my personal favourites. I like the more spiky, dramatic tiaras. Terry says, Zara can't be a princess if the father wasn't born a prince. Princesses' daughters can't be princesses. Yes, that was the old prerogative, because obviously Anne is the mother and she was a princess of the Queen. They weren't automatically designated the style princess. However, the Queen did wish to write new letters patent to change that. However, Anne decided to stick to how the previous setup was, and that's why they weren't given the style and titles as prince and princess. But the Queen did actually want to change that, and any future monarch could also change that. Nicole says, Elliot, have you ever given any lectures on the royals? Your knowledge of them is truly amazing. Thank you. No, I just think that these live chats and my videos are like giving a talk to the world, and what a better place to do it than YouTube. I can reach far more places and in the world than I can just staying in one place. Although I would like to give some talks. I've always thought it would be really interesting to do a bit of a circuit, if you like, sort of giving talks, or even on cruise ships. I mean, lots of people I'm sure would be quite interested on turning up to a talk about the royal family on a cruise ship. I'd love to do that. So if you're a cruise line and you're watching, think of me. Okay, Vanzi says, by the way, my profile name is where I live. Oh, Vancouver. I said it's not Vanessa, it's Vancouver. Not that this is any great importance, but I thought I'd let you know you have a fairly wide following. Thank you very much. I also know I have followers in the Philippines as well. So if you're watching from the Philippines or on Catch Up from the Philippines, hello. On hello to Australia or wherever you're from. Mahmood Sa says, hello. Hello, Mahmood. Caroline says, Elliot, I have a question about the Netflix series The Crown. I watched it and loved it. There were 10 episodes. Would you happen to know, is there more to come? I haven't watched it myself, as I've said, but I do know that there are more series to come. I think they actually want to follow different sections of her life. I think there was at least 5 series announced. Someone will probably correct me in a moment, but I do think it was 5. So depending on how the other series do, I think they'll just keep making it and making it. And of course, it cost 100 million to make. So you're talking a £500 million production over about 5 series. So I think her life was split into 5 different segments. Jennifer says, but didn't the uncle change his name to Mountbatten from the documentary? Yes, his was Battenberg, and he changed it to Mountbatten, which is the flip reverse of Battenberg. So Berg is the mount, and the batten is the same. So Battenberg, yes. So that's how that came about. And of course, they did have a very long Germanic name, something like, it was a really long German surname. And of course, Louis was Battenberg, which they all changed to Mountbatten. Okay, Loretta says, can you give a quick update about the Queen in Netflix? Is it based on true information? Why are people speaking if the info is authenticated? It's based on what we know about the Queen's life. So obviously there is some artistic license taken. We don't know that all, obviously, the speech that's involved in it, we don't know if they actually said that. They may have said something similar. So don't go thinking the exact words or what came out of their mouths. Obviously you don't get the full story. They concentrate on certain aspects of the life and put more emphasis on it. Although it is a true reflection on what must have happened. So I think as long as we don't take it as being dead on the truth, we can enjoy it as an entertainment show, because that's what it's made for. It's made to entertain. And if we take it as that, and if you learn something along the way, then great. But always question what you see, and if something sounds like it could be not true, then the likelihood is it probably is, and it was put there to give emphasis to a particular storyline within the context of the Netflix show. So take some things with a pinch of salt, enjoy it for what it is, an entertainment show, and you won't go far wrong. But always question things that don't seem quite right. Okay. Zania says, maybe not a Princess of Wales, but she can go to Africa and marry an African king and become a princess in South Africa, if Zara can't be one in Wales. Yeah, I mean, she could technically go anywhere she wants. However, she is already married to Mike Tyndall. So Zara's married, he doesn't have a royal title. So, and she doesn't have a royal title, so they are a normal private couple. Valerie says they're working on series 2 of The Crown now. Zania says it doesn't matter what you are as long as the tiara goes. Vivian says, when did the Queen and Duke go to Balmoral for the Christmas holiday? And how long is that holiday? Well, they usually keep with their schedule of splitting their time between Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle is done up amazingly for Christmas. She has a Christmas tree brought from some country on the continent. One was brought this week. I've got it in my notes to make a video on it, so I'm really hoping to show you the Queen's Christmas tree that's shipped over every year and put at Windsor. So she leaves in a couple of weeks to go to Sandringham. So the Christmas isn't really spent at Balmoral, it's spent at Sandringham, where all the family come and where William and Catherine have their home and the hall. And of course they stay for the whole Christmas period, and lots of the family and extended family come to stay. And Sandringham is often full to capacity, and the other houses on the estate too. And they all go to church on Christmas morning, and I hope to do a video on that. Zania says, yeah, Netflix is making, right, okay. But you still like Queen Elizabeth anyway. Valerie says, everyone says Kate is the first commoner, but it is truly Camilla that is the first commoner. I think there's been, I mean, in recent history, you're probably right. But it's not uncommon in the past that that wives haven't been of the royal blood. When you go back to Henry VIII, some of his wives weren't actually titled. Okay, Caroline says, the actors in The Crown, in my opinion, are excellent, especially the woman who plays the Queen. She does a really good portrayal from the clips that I've seen. Vivian says, I binge watched all 10 episodes and loved it, but I think young Prince Philip was more handsome than the actor who played him. Matt Smith plays Philip. Matt Smith also played the Doctor in Doctor Who. I think they've got in fairly well, but I think Prince Philip had a bit more presence about him and a bit more stature. I think if they'd have picked an actor who had a bit more stature, that would have gone a long way. Okay, Loretta says, I've never seen the show, which is why I asked. People are acting like it's the next best thing. I really hope to see it myself, and when I do, I will be talking about it. Mahmood says, hello. Hello, Mahmood. Nicole says, I keep seeing comments that compare Meghan to Q Stark. Do you think that the comparisons are fair? No, not really. I think it's a lot more open than that relationship was. I think the times have changed and Harry seems tougher than Andrew. Yes, I completely agree with that point. I think times have completely moved on, and I think as long as someone's honest and open and not trying to hide something, which Meghan isn't, as far as we know, then I think that can be accepted by the public. Caroline says, would you know if William and Harry ever see Diana's side of the family? And no one knows. If they do, it's extremely private. They must, when they go back to Althorpe to visit the gravesite. But whether any of the family are there at the time, we don't know. As far as we're aware, none of the members attended the funeral of Rain. So if they do, it may be by Christmas cards and presents, but I certainly don't think they go to main family events. And if they do, it's very low-key and private. Chelsea says, Camilla was from a gentry family. Yeah, well, she was certainly from a well-to-do, well-heeled family. And of course, her great aunt or something like that was Alice Keppel, who was also the royal mistress of a king. Terry says, Q Stark is still beautiful. I haven't seen recent pictures, so I'll take your word for it. Okay, Zadia says, she's not Princess Diana, but she loved Africa, and I am of African descent. Caroline says, also the actor who played David in The Crown, I'm pretty sure, not positive that he played Prince Charles in the movie The Queen. Maybe. I haven't seen it. I'm not sure. Terry says it was Camilla's great-grandma. I knew it was someone in the family. But yes, so she's from a history of royal mistresses. And of course, Camilla went the whole way and married her prince. Okay, so I've come to the end of some of the questions. If you've still got a question, please keep putting them. But I am going to show you, I think we'll show you a book that I've got. And this book is from my own collection, and it's called The Queen's Doll's House by Lucinda Lambton. And this is, I think, the doll's house that Queen Mary started and is now in the possession of the Queen. And it's a very intricate doll's house. So if I just show you the front cover and the back cover, if you want to freeze the picture so you can read it, that would be a good option if you're watching on catch up. And I'll just show you a little bit about the book. It's a really lovely book, and it shows, for example, the garden of the doll's house can be slid out from a drawer underneath, and it's very intricate. It just shows all the little serviettes in miniature that have the emblems sewn on. And for example, in the kitchen, there's all the little taps. So if you're interested in dolls' houses, this must be the ultimate in dolls' houses, even down to the little switches, little old-fashioned light switches. Just a really beautiful illustrated book. If I just show you one of the rooms. So it says here that this is the Princess Royal's bedroom that's in the doll's house. It's just a really beautiful book, one I enjoyed reading. It has staff quarters and all the little miniature things like chess sets. It's a really good book. There's also little miniature books within the house. So if I just show you some of those. If I just read a little bit about them, if I read the bit on the back as well. The Queen's Doll's House is the largest, most beautiful and most famous doll's house in the world, created for Queen Mary in the early 1920s by the renowned architect Sir Edwin Lutyens. It's a perfect replica of an aristocratic Edwardian residence, complete in every way, from the wine cellar with its store of tiny bottles, each containing a thimbleful of vintage wine, to the library with its exquisite volumes of original works by authors such as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which I've just showed you, Thomas Hardy and Edith Wharton. This astonishing little house also has a garden designed by Gertrude Jekyll, which I showed you one of the pictures, a garage full of miniature limousines and electricity, running water and working lifts. Each room, from the servants' bedrooms to the grand saloon, is fully furnished in every way and waiting to be explored. It's an amazing book. You can buy it from the Buckingham Palace website, and I think it's also available on Amazon. So if you're interested, it's a good read. Go buy it. Okay. Zania says, did you hear folk trying to remix Keeping Up Appearances? Hyacinth is being hijacked. Well, interestingly enough, Keeping Up Appearances is one of my favourite shows. Certainly one of my favourite sitcoms. I have all the box sets, and I did actually write an episode of my own imagining set in the modern period. So it has all the characters in, as if obviously they were still alive. It has them a little bit older, but basically I just wrote a new episode and the start of what could be a series. And I may one day make a video of me reading that script out and just putting it out there. So yes, it is one of my favourite sitcoms. Jennifer says, you are so politically correct. Well, when you do these kind of things, you have to, well, some people don't. Some people put out opinion as fact, which I never try to do. I always try and put out facts, and where something could be speculation, but yet still interesting, I will always report on it, but say that something could be fake, or it could be not true. So I will always point that out. That's one thing that you will always get from my videos. Terry says, Koo's hair is silvery black. Vivian says, the Queen loves horses and horse racing. What other royals share her passion? Camilla does. And Lady Louise Windsor, she's showing a particular interest in horses too. She was pictured only recently driving through the streets of Windsor on a horse and trap, as we call it. I don't know if you call it the same wherever you are, but a horse with like a carriage. We call it a horse and trap. So she's very keen and interested. Obviously Zara, Princess Anne are all horse lovers. Charles rides and used to play polo. William used to play polos, as does Harry. They're a very horsey family. Terry says, what car does Prince Harry drive? I don't know. Simple answer. I'll never try and say something I don't know. We know that William has a Range Rover. We saw him driving it when he was collecting the baby from the hospital. I think it was, well, both George and Charlotte from the hospital. He was driving a Range Rover. That may be part of the royal fleet, but nevertheless, he still drives it. Prince Charles has a vintage car, and I think he also drives an Audi. He was pictured driving Camilla in that. The Queen has Bentleys and Range Rovers. So if indeed he does have a vehicle of his own, I imagine it would be of that ilk. It would be sort of Range Rover type car. Okay, Terry says, my camera has gone very white. Can you see me now? If I just step back a bit, is that a bit better? Valerie says, do you think Charles will be King Charles III, or will he choose another name? I think he will be George VII. I don't think we'll see a King Charles III. I think he's been Charles for far too long to have lots of previous public association with the name Charles. I think he'll want to break away and make a new name and to continue with his grandfather's name. And I think he'll be George VII, but we will have to wait and see. Chelsea says King Charles III would be cool. To be honest, it doesn't matter to me what name he is, but I don't think he will. I think he will go for George VII. All right. People are saying my face has gone white, so I'm just going to hop back to the screen and say, okay, it has gone a bit white. I'm going to move back a little bit and see if it resets the camera. That seems to be a bit better. Okay, is that better? Let's just, please tell me if that's any better. Am I still in focus? Okay, Chelsea says that's better. I think I just had to move the camera and it unstuck on whatever was making me white. Right, I think I'm going to show you some of my leather bookmark collection. These are just a section of it, and they have either a historical building link to the UK or a direct royal link. So I'm going to start with one of my most recent ones, and I bought this last year when I went to London, and it's from Kensington. It's from Kensington Palace. So if I just show you the Kensington Palace bookmark, it costs £3.50, so it's relatively, it's affordable. It's from historic royal palaces who actually make it and sell it. So you can go on the website and purchase these kind of merchandise, pens, pencils, bookmarks. You can get them in different colours. I chose gold, and it has the Kensington Palace facade logo on it. Okay, if it's too white, hopefully you can see it now. I'll just go through a few others from my collection. So I have an Elizabeth I and Tudor one. So I'm hoping you can make out some of the detail, but this one does have Francis Drake at the top, Queen Elizabeth in the middle, and Sir Walter Raleigh at the bottom, and it's in blue. Okay, I have another one about King John and the Magna Carta. So there's a picture of the Magna Carta, and it tells us that it was signed in 1215, and it has at the bottom John's Great Seal. So that's the official seal of office. I have another very historic building bookmark, and this is of York Minster. So York is in the north of England, and they have a really old city, so it's very traditional. There's lots of old Tudor buildings, and some of those are depicted on the bookmark. I have one about King Charles. So we have King Charles at the top. The Chelsea pensioners, which are the ones that you see at royal events who are all wearing red. And it's about the Royal Hospital in Chelsea, which was founded in 1682. I have a couple about Cardiff Castle. So Cardiff is the capital of Wales, and I visited their castle. So of course, whenever I see a bookmark, I just get one or two. I have one from Blenheim Palace, which is another historic Grade 1 listed building in the UK. So you can see the front facade of Blenheim Palace. Another one of Winchester Cathedral, which has Jane Austen on it, and some of the novels that she wrote, such as Sense and Sensibility in 1811, Pride and Prejudice, 1813, Mansfield Park, 1814, Emma, 1816, and so on. And a few more of various different places that I've been to that have some kind of old historic connection, such as Hodnet Hall Gardens, which is in the area that I'm from, and where my grandmother had her golden wedding anniversary party. We have York Minster again, and York Castle Kirkgate, so another picture of one of the Tudor buildings. So I have lots and lots and lots of these sorts of bookmarks. I collect them wherever I go, theme parks, holidays, different countries. I do lots of reading, so I often, when I get a book, I choose the most appropriate bookmark to go with that book. And another book I'd like to show you this week is actually one about the Queen's houses. And this is by Alan Titchmarsh, who is a UK television presenter and gardener. And it's one of the BBC books. And it goes through all of the Queen's houses. So if I just scan through and pick a page, so you can see here we're talking about Balmoral, and of course you can see the Queen outside of Balmoral, and it gives you a good description about the history of each royal palace or home. So there's a section on Sandringham. Here we have Windsor. And of course Buckingham Palace, and it shows you the different stages of Buckingham Palace, which of course was designed by Thomas Nash. And of course some old paintings of Windsor Castle. Another beautifully illustrated book, and one that you can read to get lots of information about the royal palaces. This book, I believe, is also available on Amazon. Okay, so if you have any other questions, please do let me know. Okay, Valerie says, what does William call Kate or Catherine? Well, I always call her Catherine. I prefer that version of her name. I don't believe she was ever called Kate, or even called herself Kate. I think that was something that the media called her. And of course, in public, William calls her Catherine. So we can only assume that in private, he also calls her Catherine. Terry says, what is your take on all the unarmed who think Her Majesty should pay for the repairs to the palace? She's paying for it out of the Queen's estate's income. I would say that it's a public-owned state building. As a British taxpayer, we all own that building, just the same as we do the Houses of Parliament. which is the Palace of Westminster, and it's not had a refit since the early 1950s. The state of repair is absolutely abysmal. The roof is leaking. Staff have to put buckets underneath to catch the drips. There's lots of priceless art and furniture which aren't owned by the Queen, which are owned by the nation, which are at risk. It's a health and safety risk for the staff who live and work there. It needs doing, and the cost of it should be met by the government. And I think that's proper. The Queen pays for her own private residence that she owns. She doesn't actually occupy the entire building. She only has certain rooms within Buckingham Palace. I think it would be reasonable if she offered to pay for the refurbishment of the rooms that she occupies. That might be a really nice offer, but certainly not the whole thing. And certainly when that's costing close to 400 million, when the Palace of Westminster, where all the MPs go, is going to cost £2 billion. So it's a little bit rich to say that we can afford one state building to be renovated and not the other. Okay, Valerie says, just wondering if you've ever been to Madame Tussauds. Yes, I went last year in October. We had a beautiful wax museum here in Victoria. Over in 2010, it was removed. The royal section, of course, was my favourite, and they are really lifelike. There's even a statue, well, a replica of what they thought Queen Victoria looked like, and that was pretty amazing too. I do have some personal photographs, and I'm not sure if I put one on Instagram. If I haven't, I will put one on Instagram of me with the Princess Diana waxwork. And it was all very amazing. And I'm not sure whether I really like waxworks or not. They could be described as being a little bit eerie, and I wasn't sure entirely whether I liked them or not. I admired them for the art and the craft and the fact that lots of them looked realistic, but I'm not sure I liked the fact that something realistic wasn't actually real, if you kind of get what I mean. So I've seen it once, but I'm not sure I'll go back again, although the royal section was my favourite. Okay, Valerie says, I know I'm American, I know that she is paying for it, simply love Great Britain and wish I lived there. She's paying for it indirectly through an increase in the sovereign grant. So basically she's been given an extra 10% of the profits, so it works out to about 40, 50 million a year to pay for a 10-year renovation scheme. And of course, once that 10-year renovation scheme has been completed, her sovereign grant share percentage will drop back to current levels. Okay, I think we've had a really good Royal Reviewer live Saturday chat, as we always do. I'm always impressed by all the quality of the questions that I receive. I always try to answer them as best I can. Sometimes we simply don't know, and I have to say that things are speculation and that we need to watch this space. So with a lot of those points, you know, let's watch this space and see what happens. And of course, as soon as I find out any confirmation of anything, I will always let you know first. But for now, I think we're going to call it a day for tonight, and of course look forward to next week. So I will be here again the same time, 10 o'clock GMT, live on Saturday evening. Well, evening for me. I'm not sure what it will be where you are. If you do have any questions that you want to ask and you're not able to make the live chat, you could always message me them on Facebook, or send me a message on YouTube, or even just write them in one of the comment section of one of my videos. And I will write them down and try and answer them for you when I do my live chat. So for now, thank you for joining and watching this video. Thank you for the comments and the live chat. So from me in Shropshire, good night and goodbye.